Have you ever had that manager who sleeps during Teams calls with his mic off mute and he snores? Wake him up, it's baseball season. Here we go, baby. Welcome to the podcast. I am your host, Brendan. I'm joined by my favorite two people in the world. Dad, how are you? How do you feel?
I probably won't sleep tonight. It's just too much. All those first games tomorrow.
First games are tomorrow. We're jacked.
Oh yeah,
jacked. We're jacked to the max, as they would say. Todd.
true. So if I gotta look this up. Okay, go ahead.
While you looking that up, Todd, I feel like this is the 2008 crash when all the stock guys got back into a room to sell their crap to everybody else. Is that what we're looking at tonight? That's how exciting it is? Call everybody up, bring them in.
Oh, like it. Yeah, and it's in margin call when Jeremy Irons, what does he say? You have to be smarter, you have to be first, or you have to cheat. Going to bed tonight. Aaron Nola's looking across and he's looking in the mirror. It's like, what are you going to be tomorrow, Aaron? You going to be first? You going to be best? Or are you going to cheat? Jacob deGrom's looking in the mirror. He goes, you going to get the cream corn, the string beans, or the thin chicken cutlets from the frozen food aisle?
And then the lady,
let's get real here. Tomorrow. The first pitch of the Major League season will be simultaneous. In Miami, Alcantara will be pitching to the Mets on the first pitch.
Yeah.
And in Washington, Patrick Corbin will be throwing out the first pitch.
Everybody's favorite
first pitch of the year.
I'm going to just put this out there. There's a bet for a home run to be given up in the beginning of the year. I'm putting on Patrick Corbin. That's a good, if he's one of the first two pitchers to start.
Is that it?
I think Patrick Corbin will give up a home run in that first half of the inning. I can't say lock of the week or lock of the day. All I'm going to do is give you money. You can take it. It's free. It's on the ground. Just pick it up. Patrick Corbin is giving up a home run in the first three batters of the opening day.
No, I would say
enough about the National League. We're done with them. We finished. You made all your money. You're doing the trifecta there. The picks are great. We're going to start this American League. The American League, now that the DH is sprinkled into both leagues, don't have to be confused anymore. The American League is still classic baseball, as always. We're going to start with the AL Central, as Todd, you got it up there in the good old whiteboard.
It's the AL Central Pick-a-thon. And I'm not talking about your nose.
I think it's good to know in the AL Central is similar to the NL Central in the fact that not many big spenders in this division. There's not a lot of money invested into the good old Major League Baseball. Let's see what we got. So this division similar to the Cardinals division. We have two teams that are going to battle. However, I think one is significantly worse than the other. For a SwingBadder pick, if you will, I think the Detroit Tigers are locking up the 5th seed in my bracket this year, and they're locking it up for several reasons. They got rid of their GM mid-season last year because he did terrible with signings, and this is Cabrera's last season in baseball. One would think he could sign again next year, but this is his swan song. So he gets to visit every team. He won't play, maybe having a bat every once in a while. I might as well play him every game. The Tigers stink. They're going to stink. They're going to be 5. The team that I love to cheer for because they're just a fun team with one of the best players ever is going to be the Kansas City Royals, going in 4th. Greinke is back with the Royals. He is calling off his own pitches. If you're in Kansas City, this team is going to be fun to watch. They got the powder blue uniforms. Great stadium. Pitch clock is a big win. You can sit there and enjoy yourself. The Royals are 4th. However, I will say the Tigers and Royals do battle this out. The Royals pull ahead late in the season. That late in the season, they pull ahead. Third place is going to be interesting because last year it was pretty bland, but I'm going to go with the Minnesota Twins again, finishing third. And the reason why I have the Twins finishing third is because they have said a lot about winning, and they haven't won in forever. And I'm kind of confused. They have a lot of promise. Everyone talks about their young pitching. It's like, we have a lot of this nice things, but at the end of the day, they're solidly third. I don't see the Royals or the Tigers catching them. They're mediocre. They're like pudding. They're there. If you don't have teeth, you can eat it. They're the Twins. First and second is interesting. You got the Cleveland Guardians, who won the division last year and continues to be fantastic, and the Chicago White Sox. This year, because they got rid of the beverage drinking Tony La Russa, I believe the Chicago White Sox are your 1 and your Cleveland Guardians are your 2. That is Brendan's picks for the AL Central. You're welcome for all of you bettors out there. I'm here for the rest of this episode. Dada, what do you think of my great 1 through 5?
I think that pretty much goes along with everything I'm reading. I personally am going to flip the Guardians to number 1. I like this team. I'm more emotional than logical, but I really like this team a lot. I also like the White Sox, but I think the Guardians are going to pull out in a very close race. You know, the rest of the league's hard to argue about. I mean, clearly the Tigers are not good, and the Royals are not good enough to pass the Twins. So I think for me, it's just which of the two. And I think a good chance that the wild card can come from those 2 top guys. They could have 2 teams in the playoffs.
Ooh, that would be wild. Todd, I know this is a division that strings on your heart because of all the money that's been invested. Let's tell everybody how much everybody's invested in these teams, shall we?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, give me this one.
So the number 1 pick for me, the White Sox, are the biggest spenders. They're right now sitting at 12th in the overall dollars. Then it's the Minnesota Twins at 17th as far as spend is concerned. Then it gets a little interesting. This is where it's interesting to me. The Tigers are 20th, which is very high for a terrible team. Not as bad as the Rockies, but it's a little striking. The Royals are 24th. The Guardians are 25th. So from a SwingBadder perspective, now you're picking the Guardians and have a love for them. They are the lowest payroll in this division, not by a lot. They're tied with Kansas City, basically. However, that's pretty wild that the Cleveland is that much better than the stinking Royals.
I don't know if I heard the Twins. Where did the Twins come in?
Twins come in at 17th overall.
Mm-hmm.
They're the second one in this division.
All right. Well, more reason to cheer for the Guardians.
It's very interesting what you've done here.
Yes.
You've sold everybody on the idea that you thought about this.
Totally thought about it.
That's the disturbing part. Tigers and Royals, to me, are interchangeable, but I love the idea of Zach Greinke doing something, so I'll keep the Royals at 4th, Tigers at 5th. I'm not going to argue with you there. That's the basement dwellers of America, right?
Our swing batters.
Where I think you're wrong is the White Sox. I think the White Sox go to 3rd.
Wow.
Yeah.
You think they take a step back after getting rid of Tony La Russa?
I don't think La Russa mattered because you remember Weekend at Bernie's when they're just kind of wheeling around the dead body? Is this because of Abreu, Dad's favorite player, getting signed by another team? Well, I think that is a big part that when you have less people on base, then you're probably not going to finish in first, right? So I think the White Sox finish in 3rd. I think the Guardians are in 2nd, and I think the Guardians go to the wild card and make the playoffs fun again. And I think the Twins are in 1st place.
What?
Yes.
Why? Twins?
Yeah, I think they end up in first place.
Because of Correa?
Because this is the best Correa's leg is ever going to be. Ever.
The Twins are they had Correa last year, right?
This is what. So when you go to the Twins Twitter account, do you know what the description for their team is on Twitter?
Third place forever?
No. That's not what it is. It says the baseball team, not Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen.
Oh my gosh. No way.
That's it.
Can't be official.
That's the official description. The baseball team, not Mary Kate and Ashley, hashtag MN Twins.
Everyone needs to understand something about Minnesota. You know what the Twins are? They're a stopgap between hockey. That's what they are. And everybody who needs a stopgap, like a good stopgap, you don't want it to be a 1 and you don't want it to be a 2. You want it to be a solid 3. Kind of in it, but kind of not. So to me, the Twins are your 3. I disagree with you. That's fine. I wouldn't put any money on the Twins. If we both put $100 on White Sox versus Twins, I would win that bet because I clearly did the math in my head and it makes sense. AL Central.
You're wrong.
It's not it. Let's face it. The AL Central is not exciting.
Do a poll. Number 1, who is the oldest, better looking, and smartest brother?
Me.
And then the second question on the poll is, given your answer for number 1, why are the Twins going to finish in first place?
Listen, I'm older because I baked longer. I just took longer to come out. So I was always around. You just didn't know it. So that's just the way it is. At the end of the day, this division doesn't excite anyone. If we're going to talk about the division that doesn't excite people, this is it. The only thing exciting about this is the Tigers are so bad and they spent money.
Yeah.
The Tigers are the team that spend money. And that's where Javier Baez, is that our favorite guy who is just wild?
No, they got the first baseman from San Diego.
No. It is Javier Baez. After he left the Mets, he went and signed with the Tigers to that ridiculous deal.
I was talking about the Guardians.
Between Miguel Cabrera and Javier Baez, that, my friends, is $54 million.
I think that from listening to all this, everyone should just be completely committed to the Guardians because you get more wins per dollar than any other team.
Well, as Todd said yesterday, the Cleveland Guardians have invested in winning. So therefore, that's why they're 2 this year. The White Sox have. That's why they're 1. SwingBadder fans, we're cheering for the Tigers to really be terrible. They're in our great 8, if you will, of teams that are on the bottom. Moving on to the AL West. If you're ready, I'm ready. I think we're all ready to get to some really good action. There have been a lot of moves in the West. Everybody's excited about the West. And there's one team who made no moves and has no excitement and wants you, yes, you, the fan, to spend $100. I think you get 100 tickets. I think that's the deal in Oakland. So I don't think they can be 5th. Can you make them 8th or 9th in a 5-team division? Is it possible? They're so bad and uncommitted. Here's how bad Oakland is. You're not going to go to the game. They know it. And they are already trying to get to Vegas. So I fly to Vegas. I go to Vegas quite a bit. My favorite thing about Vegas is when I fly in and I see the Raiders Stadium looking tiny because it's on the Strip and all those hotels are massive. A great baseball stadium on the Las Vegas Strip would be wonderful with a giant sports book in it. Under home field, use a giant sports book. Let the degenerates go, watch baseball, bet on horses, bet on baseball, bet on it all. Just go there and lose it all and tell the old lady you'll be home later because you're going to win it like Homer Simpson and take the dog home with you when you find in the parking lot for Christmas. So Oakland is 5th. They're one of the great 8s. The question is, how bad will they be this year? Well, the problem that they have is they get to play all the teams this year. And they're bad compared to all the teams. So this
how is that not? Would it help them to go against a limited number of teams?
I was hoping that they played if they played a division like the the NL Central, where they had a couple really bad teams that they could play a couple times, they have a chance. But because they play every team and they're pretty bad, it's not going to help. Now, fourth place is hard for me. Fourth and third are hard for me because it's the two teams that we'll call, man, every offseason there's so much hope. And this year, I'm going to have to go with fourth place, and this is tough for me because my brothers live there. It's Texas. Fourth place is going to be Texas for me, and I feel bad for Kyle and Justin only because the Texas Rangers are the stopgap between football. That's what they are. Everyone's already ready for the Cowboys to come back. And so the Texas Rangers have signed everybody. They think they're really, really good. They fight with the Angels every year. I have a gut feeling that the Angels are going to get third over Texas. I know in my heart I would like them to stink like Oakland and trade everybody, but because of all these no trade clauses, they're really not going to trade Trout and all these great players. So the Angels are going to win enough to be relevant. Texas is going to have too many injuries to be relevant. So it's third, fourth, fifth. That's what I have right now. I could easily see Texas moving quite a bit if they don't have injuries, but I just don't see them staying healthy. This gets to the cream of the coffee, if you will, the top of the top. The two teams that I absolutely think will both make the playoffs again this year, only I'm going to swap them. I got Houston at 2, and I have Seattle winning the division. Yes, Seattle Mariner fans, I know you don't have much to cheer for because you went out in the playoffs last year, but you're hungry. You made some fantastic signings. Your team is back. Ken Griffey Jr. was hitting bombs with Team USA. Made me feel really good about Seattle. I think Seattle pours it on. Houston had a terrible injury in the World Baseball Classic. They won the World Series. They have a little bit of a hangover, and Seattle is hungry, and their team is ready for it. So I have Seattle winning, Houston second, the Angels third, Texas fourth, Oakland is fifth. And if you were to really twist me and really say, hey, which pick do you think could move all over the map? It's the Rangers. I could see them finishing not first, but I could see them finishing third or second or fifth. The Rangers could be all over the board. I got them solid at a 4. That's my top 5 picks. That was nerve-wracking for me. But Seattle fans, that's the team. That is the team. But wait, before I get any of your opinions, let's go to the who spent the most for this division. And I know this. Yes, so the Texas Rangers are the highest paid. They're 9th overall. Right above Houston is 10th. Those are your top 2 in this division. So Texas Rangers are 9th in overall baseball salaries. Then you have Houston at 10.
Okay.
Seattle is 18th, right below the Minnesota Twins. And then we have, Oakland is 30th. You can just put them there. And I'm sorry. I apologize. I was looking for Anaheim. It's the Los Angeles Angels. They are the top spender of this division at 7th. And their total spend, the 204. 204, the Rangers are 183 and Houston is 180. There is a lot of money in this division, folks. And I have lowly Seattle beating all of them at 130.
130.
Yep, 130 million. Oakland, by the way, if you look, if these were cars at a stop sign,
It's a disaster.
How are you? Oakland is almost $100 million less than second. Less than the second, the lowest payroll. Seattle's 130, they're $43 million.
It's but they have Trevor May.
That is, I'm just going to let that sink in for a second. Like, one of these teams clearly is not trying at all. Everybody else is above 100. Tons of money. The top 3 is pretty wild, but Seattle 130 is respectable. I think 130 is pretty respectable.
Did you know that the Oakland A's signed Jerry's Familia?
Oh, he couldn't make the Diamondbacks bullpen, so
for $1.5 million. So he is 4% of their payroll.
The nice thing is, with them winning like 45 games, he's not going to be used very often.
It sounds like a win-win.
I mean, his agent's like, the good news, bad news. Good news is you won't have any pressure playoff situations to worry about. Bad news is you may never pitch because they're never going to have a lead.
All right, Dad, what do you got?
Well, Brendan, my thinking has some similarities. I am going to predict that this is the year Houston does not put it together. Altuve is going to be out at the beginning of the year, and I just feel like they've had a good run, and I don't know if they're going to have the fire. I actually have them finishing in third place. I have the Rangers in second.
Whoa.
And I have Seattle winning it.
You have Seattle, Rangers, Houston?
Yeah, and then Texas is fourth and Oakland is fifth.
No, you have Angels fourth. Texas is second.
It's not what I said, it's what I thought.
Yeah.
The Angels are fourth. Texas is in second. Astros dropped to third.
All right. And what? Oh, wow. That's terrible. You have Astros below the Rangers?
I am counting on Texas staying healthy, which is a long shot, I know, and Astros just not being able to put it together. And I think Seattle's a doggone good team. They're a good team last year, and they did not do anything to get worse.
No, they got better.
They are a better team than they're getting credit for. So I'm going out on the limb, and I'm going to, after all the fun we've made of Texas, I'm going to say 6 deep on starters, and watch them surprise the Astros.
So you're saying that after all the fun we made of Texas, it was all a lie?
Nah, just say that the sun rises and it sets. Things change.
Right.
So if you're saying this, so Houston, all the old navies and the gaps are getting burnt down by those women?
I don't think they care that much. I think they're just buying Cowboys jerseys.
I mean, Houston would not buy Cowboy jerseys. They're automatically for that Houston Texans team.
No.
No, don't think so.
Did you see the crowd?
For the Houston football team?
Right. No, for the Houston Astros. Did you see the crowd?
Yeah, it wasn't.
They all own Cowboys jerseys. They also own Texans jerseys. Because it's just whoever's playing at home.
Did you want?
That's all you're cheering for. So
wait, can we go back for a second to Dad?
Yeah.
You have Texas jumping up to 2, and I know Texas was the one that kind of gutted me, but you have them. I just can't see Seattle or Houston falling below 1 or 2. And
how
you
about
have
this?
Houston. Oh, here comes. Are you just ready to sink the Titanic with this?
Mm-hmm.
Is Oakland moving? Timeout.
Do you remember Chutes and Ladders? Do you remember Chutes and Ladders?
I do.
You always have
Oakland in a ladder. The big ladder. Yeah, go with
the big ladder. So Dad just gave Texas a big ladder.
Huge ladder.
Here comes the chute.
And we.
I have Texas finishing dead last. You want to know why? You took DeGrom and you put him in the grocery store. So now you're going to finish last, and you deserve it. You deserve it, and it's coming for you. That's it. And Oakland will finish in 4th. The result of this is, first of all, Seattle, I love, first place, right out, right? So just to be different, and just to annoy Brendan, we're going to put the Angels in second and the Astros in third. So I'm a little different.
A little?
This one, listen, you play this parlay. Big money. The odds against this are so astronomically high. They're so astronomically high. If this hits, you Costa Rica.
It's like putting Florida Atlantic in a Final Four.
Okay, so just for the record, for the betting odds, right? Oakland
The
is
Texas Rangers hitting last place?
no for the AL West. Just to win the division. You can't bet on last place to win the division. Oakland is plus 25,000. The Texas Rangers are plus 850. LA Angels are plus 750. Seattle Mariners are plus 320. I think that's a great buy. And the Astros are minus 175.
No, I wouldn't take the Astros bet. I wouldn't take the Seattle bet's a great bet.
They have the Angels better than Texas?
They have the Angels better than Texas. That is correct. So again, Brendan is picking with all of his math, everything, and I'm taking Seattle as my upset. Todd has the Rangers below Oakland, which if that happens is by far the biggest upset in the history of baseball if Oakland finishes anything but fifth. If you look at the money spent, $43 million, any of those teams have spent over $100 million falling below Oakland is wild to me.
Do you know why they cursed themselves? They said they were building a winning culture.
I know the Rockies.
Don't be bragging about your winning culture and come in here and try to pretend like you're going to do something.
Listen, Todd, I'm just going to tell you, I saw Kyle's family over spring break, and they came with all their Texas Ranger gear, and I asked them, did they play double or was it a giveaway day at the grocery store? And he said they paid normal prices for all their Texas Ranger gear. And I said, well, at the end of the year, maybe you'll get it on sale. So your point, if they're fifth or fourth, Dad has them second, which is interesting. Second for Dad. I don't see Texas doing a whole lot of crazy here. I see
Texas will probably finish fourth.
Fifth
is my wish.
Let's just focus on what we agree on. Seattle is balling this year. If you're in Seattle, go watch this team. This team is great. If Seattle comes to town and you're the Boston Red Sox or the Oakland A's, go watch a winner. They're coming. They're going to trounce you. Enjoy it because they're a great, fun team. The Astros are loaded. We all know it. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I have Seattle and the White Sox as my two divisional winners. I believe, Dad, you have Cleveland and Seattle.
Yep.
And Todd, I believe...
And I have the White Sox as a wild card.
Correct. And Todd, you have Seattle,
Minnesota.
And you like the North sector. Speaking of the North, are we ready to go to the AL East? Or are we done? Me and you buried Texas, and Dad is resurrecting them.
Yeah, that's right.
Here's why. I'm going to reemphasize this. When they picked up Seager from the Dodgers, that was a bad pick. Trey Turner is the guy with all the mojo. Corey Seager was not. Then they got Marcus Semien from the Toronto Blue Jays, and those are their two big signings last year with John Gray from the Rockies. So everyone forgets that John Gray's their fifth starter, who on the Rockies, he was their sixth starter. He was actually their second, but he was terrible. So they paid John Gray a ton of money. Then they got these other four pitchers who never stay healthy. The only one who stays healthy is who you don't want to stay healthy, in John Gray. So Texas doesn't have the it factor, in my opinion. We will see. This is why they play the game. We have a pitch clock. I think it's going to hurt the pitching arms of all of the Texas Rangers. They need more time to loosen up the shoulders, massage the elbow. They got to be on a pitch clock. It's going to be harder. That's what we got, folks. Going to the AL Giddy Up East.
Do you think Texas wins 81 games? Because I don't.
No, I don't think they win 81 games either.
They'll have that by end of August.
I thought you were going to say July or June, and I was going to fall off my seat. End of August. Okay. 81 games by end of August? How long will it take them to win 40 games? That's a real question.
Who's the fastest to 50 games, Oakland or Texas?
Ooh, Texas. Oakland is really bad. Okay, so we have another one of our great eights. This is the last team in my great eight swing batters. And this is the fifth, all day, every day. They signed a bunch of old guys. This is your pudding pick. This is your they don't have the jaw strength to eat real meat anymore, so they got to eat pudding. Your Boston Red Sox are fifth. They're fifth by a mile, not even close. They're one of my 8 teams that we as SwingBadder are going to follow in the AL. For those following at home, it's the Red Sox, it's the Oakland A's, it's the Kansas City Royals, and the Detroit Tigers in the AL. Those are your 4 teams of who is going to stink the worst. And the Red Sox are right there. And nobody even thinks they're going to be anything great. They're 5th. Coming in at 4th, and the reason why I have them as 4th is because they signed a pitcher that they should not have signed. And I think it's a bad signing. I think it's a bad sign for their GM. I think Tampa Bay is 4th. Tampa Bay is going to have a falling out party. The team that I like that's on the rise, a lot of young talent, a lot of great players, one of the best catchers in the game. The Baltimore Orioles are 3rd. They're 3rd. They're going to have a lot of steam. I love their young talent. They were really in it until the very end, got tired. I think a whole offseason of training, these young guys are ready to rock and roll. I love Baltimore as 3rd. They are your up-and-comers. Chris Davis, your most highly paid player on that team, who isn't playing, he's going to watch from the dugout. He'll be super happy taking steroids. Happy, hats off to you, Chris Davis, in the contract. That's what we have in number 3. Number 2 is Toronto. I have the Toronto Blue Jays at number 2. I am very, 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 very concerned about Vlad Guerrero Jr. and his knee. I don't like any of those signs. Guy's got to lose some weight. I want to see him play for the next 18 years. Praying for you, Vlad Guerrero Jr. I hope you are going to stay healthy. A lot of players on Toronto, they just don't get over the hump of the Yankees. Yankees are number 1. I mean, what can you say? The Yankees have reloaded, retooled, added some more flavor. They are ready to go after it. They had a couple injuries in the spring training. Super loaded. They got a young shortstop that made the team. I just think the Yankees are ready to rock and roll again. They are going to win the division. They're the clear favorites in this division. I would love to see the Blue Jays challenge them, but I think this is a walk in the park for the Yankees, and they're going to have this division locked up early like they did last year. I hope they don't lock it up so early that they all stop playing like they did last year. I hope they play pretty competitively, get over 100 wins. That's my 5 for the AL East. I have Red Sox 5, Tampa Bay 4, Orioles 3, Blue Jays 2, and the Yankees coming in as your number 1 pick for the AL East. Dad, what do you say?
Well, I read 2 predictions today that were solidly with Toronto for 1. And that surprised me. In fact, one guy had Toronto going to the World Series, so he really liked them a lot. I assume that he follows baseball or he wouldn't have bothered writing an article about it. Well, Brendan, I hate to say this, but I am having a hard time disagreeing with your thinking. I also feel the Rays, who I've absolutely adored for 4 or 5 years with what they've done, are slipping. And I also see the Orioles, not this year, but everything I'm reading about their minor leagues, this Oriole team is looking very, very bright future, but not yet. So it really becomes a 2-team race for the top. And I have a hard time, like you, thinking that the Yankees would lose it. They're so loaded up. So I read some really good stuff about the Red Sox, that they're not going to win anything, but they are much better than people give them credit for. But I have a hard time seeing them passing Tampa. So I hate to say it, but my prediction is identical to Brendan's.
Well, before we get to Todd, let's go over the money. This is important because there's a lot of money in the AL East. The Yankees are number 2 behind the Mets. They're at $269 million. Blue Jays are number 2 in this division at $205. Number 3 may shock some people. It's the Boston Red Sox at $167. Now, for those that are at home, Trevor Story's not going to play this year. He's already my SwingBadder AL MVP. I know he got hurt, but when you signed Trevor Story from the Rockies, everyone said, watch what you're getting. Well, this is what you're getting. Now we got to go to the bottom to find the next 2 teams. And I mean the bottom 4 payrolls in all of baseball are the next 2 teams. Tampa Bay is 27th at $64 million. And the Orioles, as Todd has already shown it, is at 52. So the Orioles are $9 million above the Oakland A's and a million times better. Not even night and day. So if you're the Red Sox, I would say the Red Sox are getting scammed. Tampa Bay Rays are where they should be at. The Orioles are getting way more bang for their buck than you ever saw. If you were going to cheer for a team to upset all teams, it's the Orioles to go crazy in that division, because if they win that division, that is going to just shock everybody.
I think your Orioles pick is way risky. Way risky.
That's fair.
I don't see the Orioles higher than 4th. I don't see the Orioles higher than 4th. I think that the Rays are like Seattle. That is a bargain waiting to happen. I'm debating, and I'm going to do it. The Rays are going to finish 2nd.
Boom, boom, boom. 2nd.
Rays are going to finish 2nd. Blue Jays are going to finish 1st, and Yankees are going to finish 3rd. And you want to know something? It's not going to matter because all 3 of those teams are going to the playoffs.
So
you have a division winner. You're going to have a division winner and 2 wild cards.
You got everybody coming out of the AL East.
Now, AL East this is going to be a bloodbath. You're going to have Rays, Jays, and Yankees are going to the playoffs.
So here's the divisional odds, if you will. So the Baltimore Orioles are the best bet, I think, for a division shocker, which is 2,500 to 1 odds. Put down a little bit of coin, hope for the best, swing for the fences. You can get big payday. The Red Sox are 1,500 to 1. I wouldn't put any money on that. The Rays are 340 to 1. And then the Blue Jays are plus 200. Yankees are plus 130. So the Yankees are not as clear of a winner as
Blue Jays are the best bet.
Blue Jays may be the best bet. I'm just saying, if you're going to throw a Hail Mary, which I love to throw, for those at home, I'm a big Hail Mary guy. Baltimore Orioles at 2,500 to 1.
But a Hail Mary doesn't matter if the ball's never going to ever land on the receiver.
Listen, if you have $100 and you're thinking about buying a carton of cigarettes or betting on the Orioles, bet on the Orioles.
Yeah, but it's menthol.
You can't beat those. Cannot beat the good menthol. That's what you got, folks. That's it. You have Blue Jays, Tampa, Yankees.
Yes.
Interesting.
I think the Yankees are, there's not a lot of wiggle room there. They go on a bad streak. You have somebody go down with an injury, something like that. It blows it all up. I think the Rays are gonna be in 2nd, and I think the Blue Jays are a stacked team that are going to get better from their finish last year. I don't think Judge comes back and does anywhere near what he did last year. That's my thinking on it.
I like your thinking about Judge only because I'm typically used to a player in their first year, besides Trey Turner, having a bad year, trying to make all that money. So, like, Trey Turner is the only guy who's going to be like the MVP.
The more you keep talking about Trey Turner, the worse he gets.
Oh, he's so great. I really wish the Mets should have signed him. They would be happy to this day. Trey Turner is the mojo everybody needs.
I'm going to cheer for Corbin Burns.
I'm going to cheer for Patrick Corbin to give up 100 home runs this year.
No. How about the SwingBadder Awards? What do you got there?
Yeah,
is that another episode?
This is pretty basic. I mean, you got the AL teams, and this one is again the Red Sox with their closer. I think that is a possible Mike Hampton award. I think that was a great signing. I think the other one to me is I know you can't pick injuries, but man, Trevor Story is a story. That one is really, really bad. Although I will say the Red Sox signing of that their player of their future, their franchise, who is Devers? What was his name?
Rafael Devers.
Oh, they let everybody else go and they keep him. So that could be easily your MVP for SwingBadder, because the Boston Red Sox are not going to be what they used to be, and he's going to be pretty happy on that team. Yeah, that's our episode, Todd. Final thoughts for the AL. I know we're looking forward to tomorrow and the big day, opening day.
Did you know Cracker Jack is singular?
What?
Cracker Jack. There's no S. The song, it's Buy Me Some Peanuts and Cracker Jack.
No.
Did,
That some guy in China made that. He doesn't understand English or baseball.
that may well be the case. I'm just telling you that, like your picks that live in Illusion City, you've been living a lie. So
You're a Cracker Jack?
Cracker Jack and the Berenstein Bears. That's, as you're going into the season, be prepared to be backhanded with a heavy dose of reality.
Dad?
I can't wait for tomorrow when the Dodgers go to 0-1.
There we go. The start of the Diamondbacks' reign over the Dodgers begins tomorrow, everybody. And for those counting at home, Patrick Corbin.
Well,
Let's start it off
Cy
the
Young
season.
Award winner Zach Gallen will be shutting down the Dodgers.
It won't be hard. They don't have. They gave away all their talent.
Hey, guess what?
Yeah.
Right now, Trey Turner and Brandon Nimmo have the same number of stolen bases.
Oh, this is gonna be great. We're gonna do the counter when Trey.
Yeah, I absolutely.
slaps him.
I'll keep it on the whiteboard. I'll get the Brandon Nimmo versus Trey Turner stolen base percentage.
I can tell you who's gonna be on a softball league sooner, and it won't be Trey.
Oh,
That's what we have, folks. The Nimmo versus Trey. I can't wait for the scoreboard and the couch. This is going to be a great season. For those watching tomorrow, enjoy it. Baseball's awesome. It's back. The pitch clock makes it all better. There we go, everybody. Get out there. Watch the baseball. Take the day off. I'm your host, Brendan. Those are my picks.